of like the basics of bass fishing. I mean, there's a lot more to this, but it'd take a lot more to explain. Did you know that research conducted in the UK found that fishing is tied to a lower risk of mental health conditions such as anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts? Being paired with the water already has calming effects on your brain. Fishing can be a great outdoor activity to free up your mind on a daily mental strain. Whether it's fishing or just going out on the water, it's what a lot of people do to calm themselves. There's many different ways to fish and many different fish to catch. I'm going to teach you what lures to use to catch bass and what rod and reel to use and how to spool a fishing rod. So one of the most basic ones is probably a Senko. That's what this is. And there's kind of a lot of different ways to hook it and like rig it up and stuff. But the two most basic are probably like the Texas rig. So how to do a Texas rig is you just kind of go on just not that far, and then you flip it around. I had to do this a lot because this always screwed me up. But it's kind of like a weedless way. So do it. Then you just hook it, man, and pull it down. And there's two different ways to do this. You can do it weightless, so it doesn't sink faster, and so you don't get it caught in the weeds at all. Or you can put a bullet weight on it, and so basically do it like when there's no weeds and not a lot of structure, so it can hit the bottom. And the wacky rig is you just kind of hook it right in the middle, and you just kind of cast it out and you just jig it along. And I've had my best luck doing the wacky rig, but I've had the best luck in like clear environments with something more natural, like green pumpkin. And when it's murky, dirty water, it's like I've used black with blue flakes or just like something that really pops out. And the best time to catch bass is at dawn and dusk. They like to hunt and feed in low light environments. The best time to fish a Senko is probably during spawn and post spawn when the fish move up shallow. And the second thing that I'm going to talk about is a jig. And this is a jig. There's also tons of different jigs, but I've had the best luck when you tip it with like a craw or something like that, because these are meant to, you cast out and they just float on the bottom, and they're supposed to imitate a crawfish. They kick up a bunch of dirt, and so it's kind of like a Senko. If you're in clear water environments, you use more of a natural color, and if you're in murky water, you usually use something that pops. Like the best luck that I've had is like with red and orange and stuff. I'm gonna tackle rods and reels and like the best length and everything. I think the best rod like for bass fishing is probably a medium heavy. It's very versatile for a lot of things, and a standard medium also works well for a variety of fishing techniques. And a medium like spinning rod is an excellent option for lighter lures while still having enough power to land bigger fish. The length of the rod should be at least 6 to 8 feet long. The longer the rod, the longer you will be able to cast, and you'll have a lot of range of motion with it, so you can cover a lot of water. And the reel, there's a bunch of different types of reels, but the two best I think for bass fishing are baitcaster and a spinning reel. And I usually like the spinning reels, which are these, because they're really easy to use and not as hard as a baitcaster to use. And it's easier to skip under docks and fish with a bunch of other types of things. So if you're like not very cultured in fishing, I would not use a baitcaster as your like starting reel, because they're very hard and I don't really use mine often. But I think the best gear ratio for a baitcaster would probably be like 6-1-1 to 6-4-1. And Yeah, so when you use a bait caster, they're pretty hard to use because, I mean, you can get a DC, which is like a digital chip, and you can't get bird's nest, but when you don't use that, you gotta be kind of smart with these because when you cast it and it hits the water before you stop the reel from spinning, it like kind of over spools and stuff, and it makes a big mess. And those are not fun to get out. And now I'm going to teach you how to spool a fishing reel. Alright, so basically you just kind of tie it around and then just tie a knot to, just kind of tie a knot to start off. That's what I do. There's probably better ways to do it. Alright, so kind of well, I kind of did this wrong. You gotta have the line on the other end. I did this wrong. Alright. I'm not gonna tell you how to do that because I thought that's how the way you did it, and that's not really the way. But I really hope this taught you how to bass fish, and if you're bored, you can go and do this